Welcome into Point Blank, brought to you by Fitz Roofing. I'm Brandon Strange, joined as always by Joel Blank of ESPN Houston's The Press Box. Joel, welcome in. Game 4, we saw the Astros' Dusty Baker do something that A.J. Hinch did not do in a big moment, and that is trust Zack Greinke. So, after I heard the post-game comments, I wanted to have a discussion with you because I saw social media blow up and say, see, AJ, this is what you should have done in the World Series in 2019. And Zack Greinke's comments almost reflected that. What did you notice last night in that big moment?
I just think that Dusty Baker is a gut feeling kind of guy, and he old school trusts what his gut tells him and not what the analytics say and not what management is pushing him to do. He's going to do what he feels is best at that very moment. Sometimes he's going to regret it. Sometimes he's going to reap the benefits. And what I saw was he went out there not as a pitching coach. Brent Strom didn't go out there. He went out there to have a heart-to-heart with Zack Greinke and ask him one-on-one, point blank, do you want to do this? Are you okay to do this? How do you feel? And as long as he said yes, he trusted his gut, and he went with Zack Greinke, and he's reaping the benefits because Zack Greinke went out there and pitched his tail off. And the key with Brandon, with Zack Greinke is, at a certain point, some pitchers get it, some pitchers don't. But you make the transition from being a throwing pitcher to a real pitcher. That means thinking the game as well as pitching the game, and you have to live on more than just your fastball. Zack Greinke has mastered that, and the way he got out of that inning and the way that now people are scratching their temple going, what if A.J. Hinch didn't pull him when he was throwing a gem in Game 7 of the World Series? What would the results have been? Could we have been celebrating another championship? And Zack Greinke, who normally doesn't say a lot to anybody, for him to say what he said in the postgame and basically say that since he's been in Houston, he feels underused and not trusted, that says a lot about Zack Greinke as a man, as a team, as the way the Astros have done business up until Dusty Baker.
Why do you think these decisions were being made like this? Is it a matter of velo? Is it just because this guy, he's late in his career, so they think he has extra mileage on the arm? I mean, obviously, one of the big pivotal parts of this decision was the fact that Zack Greinke's been dealing with a fatigued arm in the playoffs. So there was a little bit more on the line there than there was last year for AJ. Why is it that you think he's treated this way versus maybe the way Verlander would be treated in that situation?
Well, I'll tell you, Brandon, and there's a lot to this, but I think that the Astros, with their analytics department and the way they evaluate pitchers, velocity means a lot, and that's why Justin Verlander wouldn't be treated the same way because his fastball is above 95. When you look at the guys that they are more likely to trust and leave in a ball game, when we start talking about Fromber and we start talking about Javier and we start talking about Lance McCullers and Verlander and Cole in the past, 95-plus fastball, they believe power pitching is part of the game. So they don't have as much trust in a guy that has been there, done that, but now at a different point in his career is a more intelligent pitcher about pitching and changing the location, the speeds, hitting the spots, and thinking through an at-bat. I threw this guy mostly fastballs last time. This time he's going to see a diet of off-speed pitches. Greinke's that guy. He's highly intelligent, and he's fully capable, but you have to have the belief and trust of management and your manager. Last year he didn't have it, obviously. This year, I think the regular season is much like load management in the NBA. They didn't want to push him too much, and with good reason when we heard that he had some arm issues. But at the end of the day, and when it means the most, don't think that velocity should be the reason why you don't trust Zack Greinke going forward, because he proved in that Game 4 that regardless of the situation, no moment's too big, no stage is too big, no lights are too bright. He can get you through, and he can do a lot of what any other ace can do.
I want to ask you about the contrast between how he handled Zack Greinke versus Urquidy. But before we do that, why don't you give us a word from our video sponsors at Fitz Roofing?
Yeah, Fitz Roofing's been great for us, and they'd be great for all the people of Houston, Texas. They have the best warranties in the business. They use the best products. They have the best ratings in the business, and they do free, no-obligation inspections. If you got a leaky roof or you're thinking about putting a new roof on your business or your home, only one place to call. It's Fitz Roofing. It's 832-521-3001. They come to you with a free, no-obligation inspection. They go back to doing what they do. You want them to come back, you just reach back out. They're going to take care of you every step of the way. It's Fitz Roofing, making a difference, one home at a time.
Dusty Baker took a lot of criticism for pulling Urquidy in what people think maybe a little bit early in the series, and the result kind of bore out that. Do you think he makes that same decision with Zack Greinke in Game 4 if the Urquidy situation doesn't play out the way it plays out.
I think it very well could be that Zack Greinke would have been pulled last night had the Urquidy situation been different, simply because we failed to realize with the bullpen and the failures and how that game ended was that if Altuve fields that ball and makes the throw appropriately to Correa, Urquidy's still sitting on a 1-0 lead and in control of the entire game with a fairly low pitch count. Instead, panic-stricken Dusty Baker freaked out because of the moment, and he did what he's normally done throughout his career and his reputation says he's going to do, and he got the hook out, and he pulled a starting pitcher that probably shouldn't have been pulled. But good for Dusty, you learn your lesson, and going forward, you don't make the same mistake twice. He didn't. He left Greinke in, and he reaped the benefits of a guy as a veteran thinking pitcher that got you through a very, very high leverage situation and set the table for the Astros to get that do-or-die win that they absolutely had to have.